In recent years, the world of sports has seen a stunning surge in the importance of women's athletics, a phenomenon that has not only reshaped the playing field, but also challenged long-held beliefs. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are two amazing athletes who are leading the charge. While their paths have been different, their influence on the sports world has been nothing short of revolutionary. On the one hand, Caitlin Clark's recent accomplishments have established new standards, captivated audiences, and inspired young athletes throughout the world. Angel Reese's climb to celebrity, on the other hand, has been welcomed with both affection and condemnation, especially when Patric publicly rejected her. These incidents provoked extensive discussion, shedding light on larger themes such as gender, media coverage, and the changing face of women's sports.
So it's no fun, but I know me and Kayla will go at it if anything. Just out of competition though, she wants to win, I want to win, and we're both just two great players that want to compete.
Angel Reese, noted for her basketball skills, has swiftly become a household figure in the world of women's sports. Reese, who was born and reared in Baltimore, Maryland, has achieved great success through dedication and perseverance. Her early career saw her excel in high school basketball, where she won multiple awards and established records. Reese's adjustment to collegiate basketball was simple, and she immediately established herself as a major player for the University of Maryland's women's basketball team. Her NCAA achievements have been nothing short of outstanding, and her ability to score, rebound, and defend makes her one of the league's most versatile players. However, Reese's journey to celebrity has been subject to controversy. Her bold and outspoken personality has made her a divisive figure in the sporting world. Some like her outspoken attitude, while others criticize her for what they see as arrogance. Regardless of the conflicting comments, there is little doubt that Reese has had a huge influence on women's basketball. Her ability to attract attention, both on and off the court, has raised the sport's popularity and sparked debate regarding the public image of female athletes.
Reese the old board, Reese the putback.
Offensive board leads the WNBA in that category. Well done.
All right, fair assessment. Nice pass from Clark. Yeah. First minutes, Clark the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark and Jones.
Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has stunned the basketball world with her exceptional skill and competitive passion. Clark, who grew up in West Des Moines, Iowa, started playing basketball at an early age. Her enthusiasm for the game was obvious from the outset, and she soon rose to the ranks of high school standouts, smashing records and receiving national acclaim as one of the best prospects. Clark's transition to college basketball was punctuated by a number of standout performances that cemented her position as a budding talent. She has frequently given jaw-dropping performances while playing for the University of Iowa, including many 40-point games and clutch shots that have astounded fans and observers.
Yeah, I think for me, anytime you go up against somebody that's super competitive and has that same drive and will to win, that's what you love. That's what competitors love. These type of games is what makes our game so great. It's what people want to turn on the TV and watch. I expect the viewership numbers to be through the roof for this. Yeah, I can definitely relate to the pressure that she probably feels on the weight of her shoulders, and that's a lot to deal with somebody that's 22 years old and has that many eyeballs on her, and being able to manage that. And I know she probably has a lot of people around her that help her, and that's definitely something unique.
Clark's effect on the game extends beyond her remarkable stats. Her playing style, which features a deadly mix of shooting, passing, and court vision, has distinguished her from her colleagues. She has been likened to some of the best players in the sport's history, and her ability to produce under pressure has given her the distinction of being one of the game's most clutch players. As her fame rises, Clark's impact goes beyond the court, motivating a new generation of players and redefining women's basketball expectations.
Minutes, Clark the flick ahead. Oh, what a dime from Clark and Jones.
Makes Caitlin Clark elite at the very top in terms of players.
First time.
Patric, a well-known character in sports journalism, has long been recognized for his honest thoughts and important voice in the profession. His opinion on sporting events and athletes often has a substantial impact, molding public perception and provoking debate among fans and specialists. However, his recent comments regarding Angel Reese have sparked widespread outrage, highlighting the intricacies of media portrayal and the problems that female athletes face.
She didn't speak to the media after the game against Caitlin Clark, but a member of the Chicago Sky, the national title winner at LSU, and she talked about where all this attention started with her and Caitlin Clark, and she had this to say.
The event in issue happened during one of Patric's radio appearances when he publicly chastised Angel Reese for what he saw as unsportsmanlike behavior during a major game. Patric's disapproval of Reese extended beyond her on-court activities. He also criticized her confident demeanor and outspoken temperament, implying that she needed to tone down her personality if she wanted to be taken seriously in the sports world. These remarks instantly went viral, sparking a flurry of responses on social media and throughout the sports world.
If she would have left it with what she had to say right before the last couple of words, I would have been fine with it. She's embraced the villain. She understands social media. She's done quite well. She is cashed in, literally cashed in.
The consequences of Patric's rejection of Reese go beyond her career. It emphasizes the continual fight for female athletes to be recognized and acknowledged on par with their male counterparts. Reese's experience serves as a reminder that despite the progress achieved in women's sports, major hurdles need to be overcome. The event also highlights the role of media coverage in molding public impressions of athletes, especially female athletes, as well as the need for a more egalitarian and inclusive approach to sports criticism.
But her attention, her notoriety is based off Caitlin Clark. Because she wins the national title, first thing she does, she mocks Caitlin Clark. And then she doesn't even celebrate with her teammates. So she's made it personal with Caitlin Clark. Then she's played off of that. Even Caitlin Clark getting knocked down in that game on Saturday, who's standing up applauding but Angel Reese? So she's sort of embraced a Draymond Green role here.
While Angel Reese dealt with the consequences of Dan Patric's criticism, Caitlin Clark was creating history on the basketball court. Clark performed a masterclass in scoring, passing, and leadership during a recent game that has been recognized as one of the finest performances in college basketball history. Her effort not only helped her team win a key game, but also established a new bar for what is possible in women's basketball. Clark's game-changing moves extended beyond her performance on the court. Off the court, she has been a vocal champion for gender equality in sports, utilizing her position to highlight the discrepancies between men's and women's athletics. Her stance has resonated with both fans and other athletes, gaining her great affection and respect. Clark's initiatives have also highlighted the need for more investment in women's sports, ranging from improved facilities and resources to expanded media coverage and commercial possibilities.
Holly's fighting through it today. Here's Clark bodying in and banking it home. Caitlin Clark with 20 points and assertive to the cup. Here's Clark bouncing, Boston hitting.
The cultural significance of Clark's recent acts cannot be emphasized. Her success has inspired a new generation of athletes, especially young girls, who regard her as a role model for what they may do. The media coverage of her accomplishments has also led to a change in the narrative around women's basketball, with greater emphasis placed on the ability, talent, and competition of female players. This increased awareness can draw more fans to the sport, resulting in additional chances for women's basketball at all levels. Clark's effect is seen on a global scale. Her triumph has rekindled interest in women's basketball in places where male sports have historically dominated the sport. International fans have taken note of her skills, and there is rising speculation regarding her future in professional basketball, whether in the WNBA or elsewhere. Clark's ascent to fame exemplifies the ability of sports to cross boundaries and bring people together, and her influence on the game will be felt for years.
Hit the three in the corner, Boston the rebound, Clark a good look. She got it. Had missed her first 6 from deep, but no hesitation there. Oh, what a dime! Clark to Boston!
Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese's experiences provide a captivating case study on the interaction of gender, media, and sports. The way these two athletes are depicted in the press indicates a lot about the difficulties that female athletes experience in achieving the same degree of notoriety and respect as male competitors. It also emphasizes the importance of media coverage in molding public opinions and larger cultural narratives around sports. Caitlin Clark, on the other hand, has received much acclaim for her confidence and competitive spirit, raising issues about why the same attributes are valued differently in different athletes. Part of the answer might be the way the media develops storylines around certain athletes, which are often based on preconceived assumptions of what a female athlete should look like. These myths are tough to dispel, and they influence how the public perceives athletics.
Listen, I believed in her from day one. We knew that she would only get better and better. She's averaging 17.8 points this season, 41% shooting, 33% from three-point range, leading the league in assists. Her last 5 games, Shannon, 22.5 points per game on 46% shooting, 11.4 assists per game. They've won 4 of their last 5, and now the Indiana Fever are 7th place overall and in playoff positioning.
Social media has also had a significant impact on how the public perceives Clark and Reese. Platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok have allowed athletes direct access to their followers, enabling them to manage their narratives to a degree. However, social media can be a two-edged sword, amplifying both good and negative criticism. Reese describes social media as a war where she has had to defend herself against detractors while simultaneously creating a dedicated audience. Clark has used it as a platform to exhibit her accomplishments and communicate with people all around the globe.
Obviously, people don't understand, like, if they think it's personal, but when I get between the lines, if friends or anything, if my teammate right here went to play for another team.
The interaction of gender, media, and sports is complicated and influenced by a range of elements, such as societal expectations, media practices, and individual personalities. Clark and Reese's tales underscore the need for a more nuanced approach to sports criticism, one that acknowledges the specific problems that female athletes confront and attempts to encourage rather than criticize them. As the media landscape evolves, there is a potential to create a more fair and welcoming atmosphere for all athletes, regardless of gender. This increased exposure has the potential to open up new options for female athletes, notably in terms of sponsorship and financial assistance. As more people become aware of the potential in women's sports, businesses may be more willing to invest in female athletes and provide them with the resources they need to thrive. This in turn might set off a virtuous cycle in which higher investment leads to improved performance, which attracts more fans and investment. However, some issues must be addressed. The occurrences involving Patric and Angel Reese illustrate the persistent problem of gender prejudice in sports and the need for more fair and inclusive media portrayal. There is also the matter of how to maintain the momentum created by the achievements of players such as Clark and Reese. While their tales have drawn attention to women's sports, this focus must result in long-term change rather than just a fleeting fad.
Angel Reese following you around, pointing to her ring finger and taunting you?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was just trying to get to the handshake line and shake hands and, be grateful that my team was in that position.
A variety of variables, including sustained athlete advocacy, changes in media practices, and growing sponsorship and fan investment, are expected to define the future of women's sports. Women's sports are increasingly being seen as deserving of the same amount of attention and respect as men's sports, and the tales of Clark and Reese are contributing to this shift. As more people become aware of female athletes' skills and efforts, women's sports chances will expand. As we look forward, the tales of Clark and Reese remind us of the necessity of encouraging and promoting women's sports. By recognizing and honoring female athletes' accomplishments, we can contribute to a more inclusive, equal, and exciting sports environment for everyone. We can all help shape the future of sports by increasing funding, improving media coverage, or just turning up to support women's sports. And as Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have shown, the future is bright.
Martin looking. Here's Clark. She fires and goes! She hit it!
Reflecting on last year's unforgettable moment, remember Caitlin Clark from way downtown, effortlessly sinking that three-pointer. With only 14 seconds left, she had plenty of time to set up a play, but this confident young player decided to take the bold shot herself. It wasn't just about her guts in taking the shot. Notice how she grabbed the ball, sprinted to the basket, made a behind-the-back pass, got the ball back, and then made an even trickier pass to her teammate who was wide open.
Leah Boston for an easy look. Again, she can assist, but look, they're double screens here. Katie Lou is a freaking shooter, and she's still just turning around to give her a shot. That's 33.
This not only shows Clark's skill, but also her ability to make her teammates look good.
The last game when she was like, "You can't see me." That really got everyone fired up.
But that wasn't the worst part. Despite Clark's amazing performance, her team, the Indiana Fever, is still struggling.
When she gets an and one, she'll go like this and come to the bench and she'll be like, "Let's go!" That's pretty fun.
In their last game against the Seattle Storm, even though Clark scored 15 points, grabbed 6 rebounds, and made 7 assists, the Fever lost.
11 wins all of last season. They're already at 10. Looking to tie last year's winning record.
Clark from way downtown and knocks it.
Team's problems go beyond just the numbers.
Just a couple of days ago in her game against Louisville, she basically told Haley Van Lith, "You're down 15 points. Shut up."
Coach Christy Sides Sides is facing a lot of criticism after unexpectedly letting go of Celeste Taylor, a promising defensive player.
Yeah, that was just a really tough choice. Celeste did everything we asked her. She was a great teammate. She talked more than most as a rookie. Like, she just felt really comfortable communicating on the court and on the bench as well. Like, she was really good about in huddles. It was really hard to let her go. It's just a business decision. It's one of the hardest things that we have to do in this game.
Fans are upset.
She's got quick hands, she's aggressive, she has great instincts on the defensive end, she has a maturity about her, she plays under control.
And there's no clear plan for the team's future, making everyone worried.
Also with so much energy, and she has elite speed getting up and down the floor. Her ability to run in transition, find her teammates.
Coach Sides might be running out of time, and big changes could be coming for the Fever.
And make an impact defensively is exactly what Indiana's going to get.
And if you know anything about Linda, and you know that she wants players who are willing and capable.
In the midst of these challenges, Caitlin Clark continues to show why she's a standout in the league.
For Clark, she'll need the heroics here. And doesn't. Is anyone surprised? That's what they come to see.
She's averaging over 15 points a game and making lots of assists.
Shot clock was winding down and was on her at half court, and she still created that shot.
In this game alone, she made 3 out of 7 3-point shots. Her move to the WNBA hasn't affected her sharp shooting skills, a quality that fans love.
If Clark knocks this down, she has officially surpassed Brittany Griner.
But this wasn't the end of the story. Clark's impact goes beyond just scoring.
She lives for those moments, Gus. She wants to take the big shot, and she will make the big shot.
Her teamwork with Aaliyah Boston is clear, with Clark providing her with 37 assists this season, way more than to any other player on the team.
You know, I think it's a little bit of both. I do think we did well in the paint outside of some fouls.
This partnership is becoming a big asset for the Fever.
I mean, sometimes when a team gets hot and they have a little bit of space, they knock it down, and I think that's what LA did tonight. I mean,
Coach Sides, seeing Clark's potential, encourages her to be more assertive, a suggestion many agree with given her talent.
And a technical foul on Christy Sides.
I do not blame her. It's frustrating over there on the sideline for Coach Sides.
Despite the loss to the Storm, Caitlin Clark's future in professional basketball looks bright. She's quickly becoming a leader on and off the court.
In the defense, it's Caitlin Clark's world, and we're all just living in it. She hits a three. She gets a rebound.
If her teammates can keep up with her, the Fever could win many more games.
She gets pretty fiery in our timeouts. You know, she might even clap back at us because she wants us to play with that same fire, you know.
Yet the team's defensive issues continue. In their game against the Storm, the Fever's defense was very weak, allowing 30 points in the first quarter alone. They couldn't stop Jewel Lloyd, who scored 34 points, which was a big problem. But there's more to it. The team's 20 turnovers were costly, turning directly into points for the Storm. Even Clark made some mistakes, showing that the issues are shared by the whole team. The team needs to fix these defensive problems fast if they want to make the most of Caitlin Clark's offensive skills and start winning more games. The decision to let go of Celeste Taylor, especially since she was recently named the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, now seems even more questionable.
I think we responded well after we had to use that timeout early in the third. I think turnovers are costing us a little bit. If we can take care of the ball a little bit better, we'll be in a better position, but I thought we did better on the O boards. Thanks, Kate.
Christy Sides is focused on beefing up the team's defense after a rough game against the Chicago Sky. But there's a puzzle here. Why drop Taylor, a known defense whiz? Fans are annoyed since Taylor barely got to play, only hitting the court for about 3 minutes in 5 games. That's hardly enough time to show what she's got. Fans don't buy the business move excuse and think the team goofed by letting Taylor go.
On a day where Celeste Taylor has had to play through adversity of foul trouble, she showed up with her team.
Caitlin Clark is solid on offense, but the team's defense is weak. Taylor might have helped balance things out. Her sudden departure just adds to a messy season, making fans question the team's choices, especially since Celeste Taylor's cut and Damiris Dantos's unclear role add to the confusion. Fans are so fed up they want Sides gone. The last game showed big defense gaps, especially with all the fouls and missed blocks against three-pointers. Sides didn't switch things up, and the team's shaky communication didn't help either. Even Sides admits there's a problem, but nothing's improving. While Caitlin Clark is talented, the team isn't using her right. Sides wants Clark to step up, but there's no real plan. This lack of direction has everyone frustrated, feeling like the season's potential is just slipping away. Fans are pushing hard for change, thinking a new coach might shake things up. After dropping Celeste Taylor, it's clear the Fever's ready for big moves. More changes, like trades or cuts, might come if the defense doesn't shape up. There's talk about tweaking team tactics, focusing on a tighter defense and cleaner play. Clark's growth is key. She needs to lead confidently while getting better backup. But here's a biggie. If the team doesn't shape up, fewer fans might show up, which would really hurt. Caitlin Clark has brought a spark, and now's the time for smart decisions to make the most of her skills. Christy Sides is under a lot of heat, and if things don't turn around, she might be out mid-season. That'd mean big adjustments for Clark and possibly a dip in her game. And if losses keep piling up, it'll only add pressure on Clark and dampen team spirit. For a star like Clark, staying at the bottom could hit hard. The stakes are high. The Fever has bet a lot on Clark as their future star. If they can't build a strong team around her, it'll look bad for the management. This really puts the spotlight on whether the Fever's leaders and their strategies are up to the task. What did you think of Caitlin Clark's impressive plays and the challenges facing Christy Sides? Like and subscribe for more updates and discussions on their performances. Basketball is more than simply a game. It is a stage where heroes emerge, legends are created, and the impossible becomes a reality. Caitlin Clark has emerged as a shining example of brilliance in a sport defined by tenacity, talent, and a never-ending desire for greatness. She is more than simply a player. She is a sensation, an irresistible force that has captured the hearts of millions. Despite their apparent brilliance, the United States women's basketball team took a move that stunned the globe. They elected to omit Caitlin Clark from their Olympic squad, an astonishing decision that rapidly became the buzz of the sports world. Today, we'll look at the events that led up to this surprising choice, the game in which Caitlin Clark exposed USA basketball's weaknesses, and the legacy she's making in real time.
Girls high school basketball in Iowa, you know the name Caitlin Clark, Dowling Catholic star guard, the nation's #4 prospect in the 2020 class.
Caitlin Clark is not a typical athlete. From her early days in high school, when she broke records and redefined what it meant to be a teenage basketball prodigy, to her collegiate career at the University of Iowa, Caitlin has constantly demonstrated that she is a once-in-a-generation player. Caitlin swiftly rose to prominence as a household name thanks to her long-range shooting, court vision, and ability to dominate the game. By the time she filed for the WNBA draft, she was already a superstar with a fan base that matched the biggest names in sports.
Team last summer, that Caitlin Clark. Well, last night she went off on the road at Mason City, putting up 60 points in the Maroons' win.
Despite her clear talent and the ardent love of her fans, Caitlin has had to traverse a terrain fraught with uncertainty, jealousy, and open hate. Some of the sport's finest names have questioned her location, style, and even her eligibility to compete among the elite. But Caitlin, with her customary resolve, has let her game speak for itself. And nowhere was this more apparent than in the events preceding and following her expulsion from the USA Basketball Olympic squad.
I didn't realize how many I had, but I don't know, it must have just kept building up and stuff. I mean, I never would have imagined I would score 60 points, so like, I don't know.
When the final selection for the USA Women's Basketball Olympic team was revealed, the lack of Caitlin Clark's name sent shockwaves through the sports world. How could the best player in women's basketball, arguably one of the most electric athletes on the planet, not be included? Both fans and analysts were perplexed. This wasn't just a dubious move, it was a clear oversight that many people predicted would come back to haunt the squad.
The Caitlin Clark vet. Thank you very much.
The arguments provided by the decision makers were as diverse as they were unsatisfactory. Some cited Caitlin's age, stating she lacked the necessary experience for the global stage. Others noted her playing style, arguing that her reliance on long-range shooting made her a liability in international competition. However, their explanations fell hollow. Caitlin Clark had previously shown herself against the world's finest players, frequently outperforming them with her scoring abilities and leadership on the court. The decision to leave her off the team was not only wrong, but also unjust.
Team USA's win over Japan only drew 13,040 fans, which was the lowest attended game among the opening 6 matchups in group play.
The decision to omit Caitlin from the Olympic roster sparked an outcry, but it also set the stage for one of basketball's most dramatic moments in recent memory. Caitlin did not simply accept the rejection, she utilized it as motivation. She realized she had much to prove, not just to her followers, but to those who had questioned her.
I mean, Caitlin is a great player, and I think the way that she's kind of came into this league, she's continuing to hold her own and show everyone what she can do.
When Caitlin Clark faced the USA basketball team in a high-stakes WNBA contest, it wasn't just another game. That was a statement. Caitlin played with a chip on her shoulder, delivering an intensity that made everyone else on the court struggle to keep up. Caitlin was on a mission, and it was evident right away. She didn't simply play well, she dominated, leaving no doubt about her status among the elite. Caitlin has already experienced criticism from the basketball establishment. Throughout her career, she had faced intense criticism. Her critics frequently cited her style of play, her preference for deep three-pointers and flashy assists, as reasons why she was not a traditional player. What these critics didn't realize was that Caitlin Clark was not interested in being traditional. She wanted to be great.
Speaks really highly to the player that Caitlin is, to the superstardom that she's created, for people to feel this strongly about something that most of us who know basketball just know it makes sense.
Her animosity with members of the USA basketball hierarchy, including the team's coaching staff and selection committee, had been boiling for years. Some viewed her as a challenge to the status quo, a player who refused to meet the expectations put on her. But Caitlin didn't simply survive the rivalry, she flourished in it. Every time she stepped onto the court, she was sending a message. She belonged, she was here to stay, and no amount of criticism could dim her radiance. Caitlin's performance against the USA basketball team was more than simply a personal success. It was a turning point for the entire system that had doubted her. With each basket and assist, Caitlin exposed the faults in a system that had undervalued her. The USA squad, which had previously prided itself on its ability to scout and pick the greatest players, was suddenly confronted with the truth that they had made a major error. This game wasn't just about Caitlin proving herself, it was about exposing the flaws in a system that had failed to recognize her brilliance. As Caitlin continued to dominate, it became evident that leaving her off the Olympic squad would be one of the most costly mistakes in USA basketball history.
Team USA's win over Japan only drew 13,040 fans, which was the lowest attended game among the opening 6 matchups in group play.
The sports world was buzzing in the days and weeks after the event. Analysts who had previously questioned Caitlin's position were now screaming her praises. Fans flocked to social media to voice their displeasure at the decision to keep her off the team, with many calling for accountability in the USA basketball administration. However, the most significant influence of Caitlin's performance was on the future of USA basketball. The team, long regarded as unbeatable, was now considered fragile, with its decision-making process called into question, and Caitlin Clark, the player who had been deemed unworthy, had become a symbol of everything wrong with the system. Caitlin Clark's journey is far from complete, but the impact she is leaving is unmistakable. She is more than just a terrific player. She is a trailblazer, a disruptor, and someone who refuses to be limited by the constraints that others try to place on her. Caitlin has demonstrated that greatness is not about fitting into a mold, but about shattering it and reinventing what it means to be a champion. Her contribution to women's basketball cannot be emphasized. Prior to Caitlin, the sport was frequently disregarded and struggled to establish itself in the public. But when she arrived, everything changed. People who had never seen a women's basketball game before were lured in by the sheer brilliance of Caitlin's performance. She introduced enthusiasm, vitality, and most significantly, a new generation of fans to the sport. Caitlin Clark's impact goes far beyond the basketball floor. She represents the power of tenacity, the strength of self-belief, and the influence that one individual can have on the world. In a sport dominated by teams and methods, Caitlin has demonstrated that individual talent can shine through and that a single player may transform the game.
Everyone was up in arms about Caitlin Clark not being on the squad. Caitlin has proven to be a game changer both on and off the court.
Caitlin's narrative, however, reminds us of the obstacles that come with brilliance. She has received criticism, mistrust, and plain antagonism from those who should have backed her, but she has never wavered in her quest for perfection. Caitlin Clark is significant because she personifies the spirit of resilience, the conviction that no matter how many times you're knocked down, you get back up and keep fighting. As Caitlin Clark continues to build her place in basketball history, one thing is certain: certain her journey is far from over. The day she revealed USA Basketball marked a watershed moment not only in her career, but also in the sport's future. Caitlin has demonstrated that she is more than capable of leading a team to victory, and that she deserves every accolade and ounce of praise that comes her way.
She's continuing to hold her own and show everyone what she can do. I think that, I'm excited to go alongside these 12, but know that Caitlin is going to have a bright future with USA Basketball.
But Caitlin Clark's story serves as a warning lesson for those who doubt the power of great talent. The decision to keep her off the Olympic squad will be remembered as one of the worst errors in USA Basketball history. It was a decision based on antiquated thinking, a refusal to acknowledge the brilliance of a player who is altering the game in real time. As we look ahead, it is evident that Caitlin Clark will be a strong force in basketball. Her skill, dedication, and steadfast trust in herself will keep her on top of her game for years to come. And as she continues to smash records and defy expectations, she will encourage the next generation of athletes to follow in her footsteps. Caitlin Clark's legacy is that of a terrific player who refused to be defined by others and, as a result, changed basketball. The day she exposed the USA, basketball was a win not only for Caitlin, but for all athletes who have ever been neglected, undervalued, or discarded. It was a reminder of true brilliance will always ascend to the top regardless of the hurdles. Caitlin Clark did not simply play the game, she altered it. For that, she will be remembered as one of the best at doing it.
And I think, the points that she made, she's even more motivated, more hungry, and just knowing that her time is going to come.
Caitlin Clark's story is one of determination, of a young athlete who refused to let uncertainty and criticism define her. She exemplifies what it means to be truly great, not only in basketball, but in life. As we watch her journey unfold, one thing is clear: Caitlin Clark is here to stay, and she isn't done making history. So continue to watch, cheer, and most importantly, believe in the power of greatness, because with Caitlin Clark on the court, anything is possible.